This is where I'm going with this. This project called Catch the Wave, and it changed to Ride the Wave. And this is my design process for this project. This is where it started, and you see here it's just kind of bland. It's just a sea of type. And in the corner here, I've done a version 1, and then the next slide, I've given some of my feedback and my thought process about the decisions I made and what kind of works and my feelings. And then I go through the next phase after making some changes, and you'll see them from the one before. I'm switching back and forth. Version 1, here's version 2. And I added a surfboard down there. I did some type treatment. Added the logo for this, for me, for my version of this CBD oil company. Anyhow, then my comments and arrows pointing to the elements so that it's really very clear. Another version, I changed the image altogether. However, this one had watermarks, so I went through the process of eliminating watermarks, which is really fun, tedious thing to do, and illegal. So that's another reason why this is not going to be published. But this is a good exercise for me, and probably maybe for you if you're a designer and need some help with all that. Let's talk. Anyhow, so this is a version 3, and this is my explanation of what I did and why I did it, and thoughts and feelings, and what I might do to improve it. And sometimes I don't really know why I'm commenting on things, but it's important to record it. So when you revisit this, or even try to share it with somebody, then the reality comes, the epiphany, or the clarity comes of why I made a decision. I kind of made decisions. I don't know exactly where they come from, and sometimes it's not good to analyze that and just let them flow. And after they're on the page or on the screen, then you can question. Don't just save everything. I save many versions of every project I've done, and sometimes you make a mistake and you have to go back to a previous version and kind of start over from that point. There's nothing worse than losing all the previous versions and having to start from scratch. Although I have had to do that, and sometimes with all that stuff in your background, it's kind of like a process of the process. You have already made those decisions, so you need to make new ones or the same ones but slightly improved and evolved. So it's even starting from scratch sometimes is really a good thing to do, because it's not really from scratch. You're starting over from where you left off mentally, and what you learned and what you know now does and doesn't work. I know it's kind of weird, but that's just the way the design process is for me. Let me go into the next version. Let's compare it to the one before. You see the difference? Clicking back and forth. This is version 4, and definitely questioning my own decisions here. And there's I mentioned negative space in the bottom here. That's negative space. That's not a good thing necessarily. It depends upon how it's used. For instance, this glow around here is just really disturbing, and it's like off-putting. Your focus kind of goes to that, and even though this is intriguing, you're supposed to be reading this stuff. You're supposed to be reading all this stuff. So anyhow, this is all about typography and how to use typography for your advantage and to make things interesting without disturbing the message. Here's another version. Clicking back and forth. This one doesn't go forward. This one kind of seems to go backwards to me. And this is a problem here, these overlapping edges. Anyhow, just really quickly, and this is another version 6, and then I get to 7. I start going to change that surfboard so it looked like a capsule, right? It looked like a pill. It wasn't really identified. When you saw that standing alone, you wouldn't be sure it's a surfboard necessarily. We want this to be for the general public, so removing that mystery is important. It draws attention away from the message. If you put something in a design that is weird, it has to be there for a very good reason and justified. You have to be able to say why, answer that question, why did you pick that image? And you have to really know exactly. You don't mess around. It's not because you like it, it's because it's a great image, because it really justifies the purpose of and my client really likes this, and this is the market he wants to reach, and blah, 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 okay? Getting further, I added these bands of color, which is really helps ground things. It gives a little more three-dimensional to things. And then finally, I was explained everything. And this is the final version, which puts a solid band on the bottom. Probably we want to crop this at the bottom a bit and move this up a bit. It's a little bit too much white space there. I feel like you're, I don't know. That's just, I'll have to try that and see how it feels. And there's more things to do with this logo area down here and a subtitle called Lean In, which is really kind of cool. I need to work on that some more. But yeah, this is where it wound up. And let me show you where we started back here. And this is where we end. Big, huge change. Big change. Anyhow, so that was the design process on this particular project. And it did take me a couple of days. Not working constantly, not 24/7, but I often work on stuff, take a break, take a nap, overnight, sleep on things, and things come to you in the first thing in the morning. I wake up with a clear head and say, that could have been better. So anyhow, that's the design process for me. At this installment, I call it 101. But anyhow, I hope you're doing well, and I hope this is helpful. So let me know. And click below if it's Facebook, and if it's on my Facebook. If it's on YouTube, click below. If it's on Facebook, message me and stuff. Steve Perkins signing off for now. Bye.